All right, welcome. Same time, same place, a new focus. So we're going to talk about learning how to be adaptive in these very unusual times. As many of you know, this was supposed to be our third Sisterhood Zoom call for Sisterhood Presidents. And this was the one that was going to be right before we saw each other in a number of weeks at convention. So last week, Toby and I realized that just like we're going to be talking about being adaptive, so are we.
Carolyn,
So
everybody.
Toby and everybody, thanks so much. Okay. Okay, so just as we're going to be talking about, we went back to the drawing board to do it as well. So I'm Carol Simon, the immediate past international president of Women's League, and my partner in crime.
I'm Toby Mazur. I'm a consultant for Women's League, and to let a little bit of news out of the bag, I'm going to be your next Sisterhood President Google Group liaison. So I'll be seeing many of you in the near future. So I'd like to welcome all of you tonight.
Okay.
Okay. We're not sure when or how or what this new normal will look like. But as sisterhood leaders, we need to adapt and experiment. There's no benefit for waiting for our life prior to this pandemic or any situation to return. Our motto should be adapting and learning. We're modeling that concept through this Zoom this evening and the ones we've had in the past. Carol and I looked at the original title and realized quite quickly that it was no longer relevant, as we would not be meeting in person in July. We quickly regrouped, brainstormed, adapted, and renamed this meeting, and the end result is right now we have 64 people on the line. I expect some more will be joining us while we're on the call. Before we get to the specifics of how to introduce Zoom to your women, let's address what it'll mean to you, as you will be the facilitator.
Okay, so one of the first things is you need to dress the part. As I said to a few of you that came on early, I didn't put a typical t-shirt on today. I actually put on a shirt with a button. My husband looked at me this morning and said, "Oh, you're getting all dressed up." So, and as much as PJs are comfortable, you need to remember that you're the leader of your sisterhood. Choose something comfortable, but something that gives you authority. You will be heard as the president that way. Lipstick makes you look more professional, not washed out. And do not forget to put on your Sisterhood President's pin and your Torah Fund pin. It sends a professional message.
Choose your setting. If you look around at the different pictures you see on the screen now, you need to find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. I know my dog is over there on the couch, and you'll probably hear her sometime tonight. Kids, pets, and spouses need to know that they will be heard on your speakers. And people can tell if you're lounging in the bed because your screen is kind of shaking and you're moving around a little bit to get more comfortable. It's best to find a place where you can put your computer on a table or on a desk. And please, no pajama tops.
Practice if you'll be sharing documents. Have your notes and documents close by. And if you're going to share documents on your screen, bring them up on your computer so they're ready to go before the meeting starts. Having everything you need ready to go shows that you're engaged, even if you are not in the same room. And if this is your first time sharing or not even your first time sharing, practice beforehand and always ask somebody to be your backup just in case. We, Toby and I, were each other's backups for the last Sisterhood Presidents Zoom call. And I don't know how many of you are on there, but when we practiced, Toby did it perfectly and I did it perfectly. And I still asked Eileen to be my backup. The night of the call, I could not get it to share. Thank goodness I had Toby as my backup. So always have a backup.
Let me give you an idea before we go any further. If you look at the bottom of the black box that we're all in, it says share screen. And if you bring that up and then go to your papers, it'll show you different things that you could bring up. The screen that we're watching now is the one that you would see, and then you can bring it up and share it with others. The next most important things to do, and you can see we've done it here, is to remind everyone to mute. And if you are the facilitator and the person who started your Zoom call, you can mute and unmute everyone, because some people just don't know how, and it's just as easy for this. Let all the participants know that they need to unmute or raise their hand to speak. And you could do that the same way down at the bottom of your screen where it says reactions. It shows a way that you can wave your hand up there. It's great review for our veterans who already have done this before, but good information for those of you who will be Zooming soon. Yes, Eileen, do you have a question for us? Your hand is raised.
I'm just
Okay.
applauding you to what you're
Okay.
Oh,
doing.
thank you.
All right. Okay, so another way for you to be able to tell people to raise their hand, other than physically raising their hand, so that you as the moderator can watch it, is that you tell people to please go down to manage participants. And if you do that, then there's a whole list of whoever's on the call, and all you have to do is click at the very bottom where it says my hand is raised. So that's a good trick. And be on time, or better yet, be early. If you're on time, you're late. As you can tell, that this evening we had a lot of people on about 20 minutes early. So try to arrive 5 to 10 minutes before your phone call, Zoom call, in order to properly set things up so you're not rushing around. That way, if there are any difficulties with your technology on your end, you have time to fix it before the call starts. It also shows that you have respect for the others on the call and that you're taking this meeting just as seriously as you would if you were meeting in the same room. And the other good thing is it's fun to socialize before the meeting, a great way to create community.
A couple of weeks ago, I decided to have a Zoom with our sisterhood, and some of the women had no clue even how to turn it on. So what I did is the night before we had our actual get together, I asked those who were unsure of what to do to join me on a Zoom call. And this way I was able to walk them through all of it. Some people don't know that they need to RSVP, otherwise you can't get in. And some have not even used any kind of online formats before. Ask them if they want to have a trial session. Approach them by phone or by email. Help them to respond to the invitation, sign in, mute and unmute, and just as we showed you how to raise your hand. They also need, very important, to know how to center themselves in the picture. Otherwise, you end up, and I don't know how many of you are looking at me, but you can either see my ceiling or you can see my Torah Fun pin and my chest. What I really want to see is your face. So make sure that you are centered in the picture.
Okay, at this point, I have 3 hands up. So Carol Greenberg.
I'm just trying to figure it out. Sorry.
Okay, good. Okay, and then you can look there. If you see in your little box, it says lower your hand. Okay, so you can do that. Helene Norman, do you have a question? Or are you just practicing?
A little
Okay,
bit,
and Beth,
a little bit different. I'm on an iPad, not a computer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
things are in different places, but where,
Me too.
when you said share screen, I don't know what that means. So I did click on share content, then screen, and it came to something that said broadcasting. And I was confused. I couldn't get back, but now I am back. But I don't know what that is.
okay, so share screen would be if you would be having a meeting and you want to show the budget as an example. And that way for everybody, instead of emailing it out to everybody, you could do that. And as well, just put the whole budget up on the screen so that you could be talking, but everybody, instead of looking at you, would be looking at the budget. And,
Okay,
and for
I practiced today because my first board meeting on Zoom is next week. And I want the, somebody's sharing.
yeah,
Zoom.
Linda's sharing her screen.
Okay, I went to my share content and I got the agenda, which I have in Word, and it was showing up on the screen I was looking at, but I really wasn't, you know, online with anybody. So is that at the point where I would have to touch the share screen after I get that document up?
Yes, yes. And it's a little bit different on a computer than it is on your iPad.
So I guess I'll have to practice because I know I saw the agenda document, but I don't know if it gave me the options at all to do anything
Right,
else.
and that's why we say you need to practice, and everybody in your sister, you know, whoever's on the board or the exec or the meeting that you're holding.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions? Are there any questions in the chat? I see there are a lot of things in the chat.
I raised my hand.
Okay, Beth.
I've run Zoom meetings before, and we do have a meeting that we're doing this coming Monday, but I've never done the RSVP thing, and we're talking about doing a lot of virtual programming for our synagogue through the sisterhood, and I'd love to know how you send that out and get the RSVP so we know who to expect, because we're now doing just broadcast it with the meeting ID and the password, and then whoever comes on. But if you have an RSVP, that would be awesome.
Okay, that I am not sure at, but I will take notes, and some of these questions that are more technical questions, that's not my area, but we will get you answers. A lot of times there's help on Zoom. I know I have my own Zoom account, and when you set up a meeting, there's all these different things that you can click or unclick. So, you know, you can go through that, and they have a great help desk, and support, so you can send it to everybody.
Yeah, I saw, you know, a bunch of weeks ago that I better just get my own account so that I can schedule these meetings and do these kinds of events. So I can look at it more, but I think it's great to have that RSVP feature.
Right, it is. And the other thing is they now have a waiting room, and you really, when you schedule a meeting, it's automatic now. You have to go in and click whether you want a waiting room or not. So that way, you know, you're letting in the people you want to let in. Okay.
Carol, there's an earlier question about Zoom accounts and how you get it and if you need one. So maybe you might address that.
Okay, we are going to cover that. We are going to cover.
Very good.
So if everybody can hold some questions, Toby and I are going to continue, because that way a lot of your questions might be answered, and then we'll stop again. Okay. All right. So we talked about send the agenda with the Zoom information. It allows those on the call to know the order of business, and it reduces questions and or comments that you will address at a specific time. How about that one? Toby.
Okay, just so you know, when I get those answers for you, especially the one that was just asked, I can have Renee post the answers on the Presnet. So that way you can all get the answers. Hopefully you're all on that Presnet. And if not, you know, contact me after this. My email is tmazer@WLCJ, and I'll get you the answers and we'll post it on the Presnet. Now that we see how to continue the business of our sisterhoods, let's start expanding and think about how to use this platform for programming. We understand this unusual time and this very unusual idea, but that gives us the ability to jump out of that box and expand the use of Zoom to engage our entire membership and even more people than that. During this shut-in time, have you streamed a movie, watched a Broadway show, listened to a podcast or some music? Why can't we utilize our regularly scheduled times to have a sisterhood program? Think of how many might join in especially if they can wear their pajamas and have a glass of wine in their hand. And don't worry, they don't have to worry about getting dressed up or driving that night, or day, or Sunday morning, or whenever you decide to have your program.
Right, anytime at all. Okay, so we're going to talk a few things about getting your sisterhood to embrace Zoom. You are each comfortable using Zoom because we're doing it tonight. You've learned how it works and the benefits of utilizing Zoom to create this community. Now your task is to encourage the women, all of the women in your synagogue community to join in, not just your members, but all the women. This is a wonderful opportunity to enlarge your circle while people are at home. We all want to reach out to those who have not joined our inner circle. So this is the perfect time to reach out to all and let them see what you have to offer without making a commitment yet.
What are you waiting for? We know that there have been postponed Torah Fund events, board meetings, committee meetings, and other programs since we've all been locked in since February. And yes, we are going to be having a virtual convention. So why wait until we can meet in person again? Take advantage of the time we are all home to connect. Remember, circumstances beyond our control have forced us to be creative and forced innovation. And now it's your time as Sisterhood President to join in.
So most synagogues at this point are utilizing Zoom for daily minions, classes, services, Hebrew school, education, you name it. Everybody's being very creative. If there is a way to utilize their account, that would be great. Otherwise, I believe that the cost for an upgraded account, I know I have a personal one, which allows me up to 100 people as long as you need it. So there's no time. There's a free Zoom account, but it only allows you 3 people for up to 40 minutes. And all I pay is $14.95 a month. And there's no contract, so you can cancel it whenever you want, but this allows you to be able to set up the meetings on your own, send them out, and it's really easy. If anybody needs any help, just email me and I'll walk you through it. If I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out.
So how would you go about engaging your women? Explain that you've been participating in Zoom, that you will be offering practice sessions, and you can always contact consulting services to help with that. As always, consulting services are free to all our sisterhoods, and these women can help you resolve your questions and concerns. And more about that in another minute. Share the benefits of utilizing Zoom, build a community, programming, not just for now. Think about the times we schedule a meeting or program, and then we spend almost as much time worrying. Worrying about what? During the winter, when you may not plan programs for fear of a snowstorm, or during hurricane season, or when someone says, I just can't drive at night. Well, think about that young mother who can't find a babysitter, or the woman traveling on business who still wants to participate. You can come up with many more. Send out a lot of PR about an upcoming gathering, just to get people comfortable. Plan a social hour to visit and catch up. For those that do not have computers, smartphones, or iPads, they can just call in.
Okay, so some of the programming ideas, this is also an excellent time. We're going to get back to some ideas for programming, but this is also a really good time as sisterhood presidents to rethink your sisterhood structure. What's working? Anything that you've been thinking about changing? This is the time to really start thinking about it. Review your bylaws. We have time now. They should be looked at every 2 to 3 years, but most will need some revisions so that you can hold meetings and be able to vote electronically. You should also be mindful of including wording so that a quorum would be acceptable utilizing Zoom or any kind of video conferencing. As Toby mentioned, contact consulting services. This is a wonderful opportunity to take the time to work with a Women's League consultant on anything, programming, your nominating committee, bylaws, crafts, even evaluating what you do. I have to tell you, I have been working with a sisterhood currently. We started out utilizing Zoom. If I had gone to them a couple of months ago, I would have worked with them for 3 hours and left. And then my only contact would have been the sisterhood president and maybe another person. Now, we've been meeting weekly. We started out, they wanted to evaluate what they're doing. They wanted to restructure. They wanted some rebranding. They needed to look at their bylaws. They couldn't find their bylaws. So every week I've been working with a group of about 15 women, and they have their homework to do. And then we meet again the following week and we reevaluate, see where we are, and we keep going. And we've been doing this for about 5 weeks now. And I have to tell you, I told Sandy Birnbaum, who's head of consulting services right now, that this is so much more effective. So take the time now that everybody is home and has some extra time to think about doing that for your sisterhood. Think about, what are your goals? What works for you and your membership? What are your success and challenges? How are you engaging new women? Would you like to enlarge that circle of volunteers? Do you have a mission statement? If you do, does that need some updating? Do you have a strategic plan? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about that rebranding? A new logo, a new tagline? Do you have a challenge getting your members to accept positions? Have you thought about changing titles? Creating teams so that a few working together allows growth and collaboration, and that way one person doesn't have all the responsibility. So a Women's League consultant, this is a plug, a paid political advertisement can work through these questions with you, prioritizing, setting an agenda, and by utilizing Zoom, you can meet weekly, bi-weekly as you work through the agenda that you create together. Your consultant is also available to work on with small groups. I worked with the nominating committee. They had a question. I got on their Zoom call. 5 minutes, I was off. They were off and running. I can tell you that it works. And I'm having a wonderful time working with that sisterhood. Hold book club meetings. And if you do not have one, this is a great time to start one. Women's League Reads is a great resource for your sisterhood. And you can even have Vivian Lieber as a guest speaker to talk about books. If you know an author or a college professor, they may be able to join the program and discuss the book or the writing process. Yoga, meditation, if there's someone in your sisterhood community that can lead that, again, that's something you can start now. Remember those interest surveys that you might have sent out last summer? Recheck them. What about craft projects? Do you have a group that comes together to knit or crochet for shelters and hospitals? Just because you can't knit and crochet together in person doesn't mean you can't do it by Zoom. No reason that they can't meet. The t-shirt project for convention, that can be done by Zoom as well. I bet you can even ask Edna Schrank or Rachel Ferber to join you to demonstrate. Start a special interest group. And it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So just come together to socialize. Remember, the goal for all is just to engage your members and to create community.
Don't forget that WLCJ is an excellent example and resource. We've been utilizing Zoom for well over 5 years. First, it was just for executive and board meetings. Now it's for just about every meeting that we need to have. We expanded. Carol mentioned WL Reads, Women's League Reads. This has been expanding during this unsettling time. Beside the selected book and author interviews, there's also more time for books. Study, Mishnah, Brachot, study sessions. There's going to be a poetry writing workshop. Eat, drink, and pray on May 7th, and how to lead Birkat Hamazon on May 14th. There are daily minions. We have a wonderful daily virtual Psalm study in Kaddish with Rabbi Ellen Wolnitz-Fields, our executive director. She has done such a marvelous job, and I'm sure I'm looking around and I recognize a lot of faces that have been on there. It's at 1 o'clock every day. It's only about 20 minutes. She goes over a different psalm every day, and then we are able to say Kaddish. Kaddish that most women right now, there's no place to get a minyan, and we have way more than a minyan on those phone calls, on those Zoom calls. So please, please join us. We've been doing a lot of convention planning meetings. For the past 2 years, we have been working on that convention that would have been July 12th through the 14th. Now we're working on the virtual convention, and we've had to rethink and rearrange and rethink again, but it's all coming together, and I can't look forward enough to seeing you all on July 12th. So don't forget, even though we're not having our convention, we will be having that virtual convention on that one day.
Okay, and I have some updating news that you all will be getting tomorrow. It's going to be sent out, but Rabbi Wallenstein sent it to me. So Tuesday, April 28th, there's Israel in Books, more time for books. So the Women's League Reads has expanded, and they're doing more and more things. A very personal conversation about our planet is Earth Day 2020. We know today was Earth Day, but on Tuesday, April 28th at 7 p.m., Earth Day 2020, 50 years later, where are we and what should we do about it? Where we join Rabbi Katie Allen. I'm looking through the, we have the Mishnah Berachot, Jewish Women in Film. Lois Silverman is going to be doing another one on Monday, May 4th, and she already did one. And if you want to go on the website, it was recorded and you can watch it there. So more and more, we're being creative and trying to build this community. I noticed that somebody in the chat asked a question about how you can join. I assume it meant, how do you join the daily minyan? Was that not the question, Debbie?
No, I think she was referring to the Latte and Learn before it.
Oh,
And,
okay. Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Was it Carol?
Yes.
This is Marcia Cleos. I asked that question.
Okay, so it was about the,
It wasn't about the latte.
okay, it was about the minyan.
Yes, it was about the minyan.
Okay, so every, twice a week, information comes out from the Women's League office. You will get it directly, and it's also in your Region Shabbat newsletter or the Region newsletter whenever that comes out. Especially in the Region newsletters, the Region information is at the top, but if you scroll all the way down, then all the information that gets sent out from Women's League is in there, and all the Zoom information. Now, the Daily Minyan, the Zoom information, there is a password, okay? But if you email me, I can send you the link.
Okay,
and my
thank you.
email is csimon@wlcj.org.
And that's in the chat too.
Right, okay, thank you. Questions? Any questions, Debbie, Eileen? Okay. Shoot, go.
Yeah, the thing that I think, are you still going to address whether they need a Zoom account? Because they really want to know, should they have their own or should they share them
Okay,
with other
so
synagogue
with
owners?
their synagogue, you know, since it's
That was
only,
Miriam Hearn, yeah.
okay, since it's only $15, I know from my own synagogue, there is so much going on that I think it would be better for the sisterhood just to pay the $15, have your own account. You know, if you think there'll be more than 100 people, then you can research that. I don't know the answer to that. I know I just signed up to do Seder, actually, so I could do my Seder and not worry about the 40 minutes. And we've actually been having wine with different groups of people every night, socializing, and it doesn't put any restrictions on you. You don't have to worry about timing. If it runs a little bit longer, if you want to do something while the synagogue is having Hebrew school, you know, so I would suggest that, Miriam. Okay. Tina?
And one,
Yeah.
I had a question before. when you were talking about reactions and people could raise their hand in the reactions, in my
Yes.
reactions, I only had the thumbs up and a clap.
Question.
Yeah, me too.
That you only have a,
Thumbs up and a clap.
That part is
Okay,
under
so-
participant.
right. If you have to go into participants, if you take your cursor and put it on your name, like right now, my cursor is on Sheila Kaufman, she can lower her hand or raise her hand. Okay, so if her hand is up, there's a little thing that says lower your hand. If your hand is not up, you can raise your hand. Does that answer your question?
Next to my name, I don't see a hand.
Question.
Okay. Did you go into manage participants?
You have to
Where-
click it.
You have to
Click your
click it.
name.
Have to do what?
Click
You
my
have to
name,
click on it. You have to click on it.
my name.
Click on what?
But
Lower
if there-
hand
if
or
you're on
raise
an i-
hand.
Right, if
Well,
you're on a computer, at the very bottom, it says, there's an invite,
Oh,
there's
right there.
manage
I see it.
participants.
I see
Okay,
it. I
if
see
you
it.
click on that, there'll be a list of the participants. When you see your name,
Okay,
if you
right, I
you
see
want
that.
to raise their hand, you just click on it.
I
Okay.
love to have a comment. Somebody wanted to know how to register. We're having a trial run of 4 sessions with called Mini University. The Mini University used to be, when we would get together, we read a short story and the rabbi is actually involved with this. So we're going to try this virtually. My shul uses something called MailChimp. And MailChimp is where they're doing the registration.
Okay, well, MailChimp is like Constant Contact. It's just a platform to email things out. And okay, Tina, you're muted if you want to ask a question.
I'll mute.
Okay. Tina, you're muted.
Okay, now you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so before you said April 28th, there was something about 7 p.m.
April 28th, yes. Let me get to it.
I'm trying to take notes.
Yes, April
You'll be
28th
getting
is
all that
Thursday,
information
and you're
hopefully
going to be
tomorrow.
getting, yes, all this is coming out tomorrow from Women's League.
Okay.
Okay, I just got it from Rabbi. She wanted me to, I said we had mentioned a lot of things, but she wanted us to mention what was coming up too. Debbie?
Carol, that's exactly what I wanted to say. If you are not receiving messages from Women's League, it's possible that you have not subscribed to the messages and that we can only send you messages if you've given us permission.
Oh, no, I have. And
Okay,
Kathy
good.
Latovsky is our Seaboard Region President.
Okay, Tina, I'm addressing everyone at this point so that everyone, in case they haven't, I understand you have.
Sorry.
But what I wanted to say was that I just put it in the chat. If you email Razel Kessler, she will go into your database name and make sure that you are receiving the messages. And all of the dates and times that Carol just gave will come tomorrow in the Women's League This Week message. So I'm glad you're already subscribed, Tina. You're ahead of the game. Thank you so much.
Right. Part of it is because we're a nonprofit. You know, you normally get emails from all different kinds of businesses and other places, and all you have to do is unsubscribe. Because we're a 501c3, we can't do that. You have to opt in. So in other words, at some point, you all received some email asking if you wanted to opt in, and if you don't know what it is, you don't do it. So then we just need to go back. So as Debbie said, you can just email Razel, she'll take care of it. Okay, tell her you want to opt in so you can get all of the information from Women's League. Adele, you're muted. Okay, perfect.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Adele Weinstein from Toronto, Ontario, Beth Tikva Synagogue. And I just wanted to ask, kind of mention something. I had a book club 2 days ago with my sisterhood, and it was fairly successful. But the one thing that I noticed is that I was unmuting and muting people all at the same time, and it got a little confusing. It would have been nice to have another person help me being a co-host. So that was just my suggestion. It was nice. I had 21 ladies who enjoyed seeing each other. but that was just my suggestion.
Great. As you can see, we have two people, Debbie and Eileen, that are helping Toby and I tonight because of the numbers. Okay, I have some, Lisa Gerstenfeld, I have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I know we've been talking about Zoom and how to do that, but my question is actually more about engaging our sisterhood members. And we have an annual Mahjong tournament that we do every June. I think it's our 11th or 12th year about to do it. We've had to postpone it. We didn't cancel it. We postponed it to a later date, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. But it was mentioned to me that there are some sisterhoods around the country that are doing online tournaments. And I was wondering if there are any presidents here who know about that, that maybe I could speak to offline, because our chairs were looking into that, and I play Mahjong online, but I don't know how we would do a tournament that way.
Okay, so if anybody here, and we'll also have Renee Ravitch posted on the Presnet, but if anybody here, just email me and I will forward it to you, Lisa. Okay?
Okay, and I'm from Plano, Texas, on Chator.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, there were a couple other questions, Toby. I'm trying to, Sheila Kaufman. I don't know where you are, Sheila.
Yeah, hi. It's not so much a question as reacting to one of the earlier questions about invitees, and I think I posted it. And it's more of when you get an RSVP, you have to invite people. So there's two ways to do Zoom. You can either arrange for a Zoom meeting and copy the information and put it in your email, or you can send out, when you're making the meeting, you can invite people, but you'd have to put in all the email addresses. So it can get cumbersome if you have 100 people to invite.
Right, and if you are on Evite, if you have Evite, you can, if you set up the Zoom meeting, set up the meeting in Zoom and then do the Evite, there's a way that you can copy and paste the Zoom information, and it goes out with the Evite.
Yeah.
So that's also an easy way.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I would like to call on Eileen and Debbie. Debbie Goldich is convention chair. Eileen is my boss. She's the program chair. She's Toby and our bosses, since Toby and I are in charge of the leadership. And if they'd like to say some words about convention for us.
Can I say?
I would like to welcome everybody, and I'm glad you're here with us. So as you know, at convention, we always do a session about for the entertainment and education of sisterhood presidents. Unfortunately, we're not having an in-house, in-person convention. It's going to be virtual on Sunday, July 12th. We're still hoping at this point, we're not sure that we're definitely going to have something for sisterhood presidents that day. So we hope that you will all look for the information, and if you all get yourself signed up, you will all definitely get information. It's great today. We sent through the sisterhood presidents emails, and obviously you all received the notice about it. You all signed up. So we'll continue to send information to you that way also. I'm very glad you're here, and I appreciate very much that Carol and Toby are sharing this information with you. Their emails are in the chat. Feel free to email them at any time. I'm offering them up, but email them anytime with questions. And you can also email questions on Presnet, and Renee, who monitors the Presnet, will get you the answer. And if she doesn't know it, she will find it for you. The Presnet is a great vehicle for you to find information and learn from each other, just the way tonight you were posting chat about your different kinds of Zooms and the programming you were doing. That's what happens on the Presnet. So if you've never been on the Presnet, you want to get signed up for that. The same kinds of sharing goes on. So I'm going to turn it over to Eileen Rubin, who's program chair for convention.
Eileen, before you say something, can I say something about convention?
Yes.
Well, if you don't say what I'm going to say,
No, I don't think so. Well, I hope not. All I wanted to let you know is that because it's a virtual convention, it is such an opportunity. Are you going to say that, Eileen?
Maybe not, but
Okay.
so many
All I
words.
was gonna say-
Let's put it this way. Whoever has the glasses on gets to speak.
Oh, okay, then I'll be quiet.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but there are some things I do want to mention. I'm Eileen Rubin. I'm the program chair of convention, and you can see I have not thrown away my 2020 glasses. So we're moving. So we worked hard. I'm not going to kid you. We worked hard, and we were a little taken aback and a little disappointed, and we waited as long as we could to make these decisions. But we're making lemons out of lemonade. And we're taking advantage of things that maybe wouldn't have been possible with a physical convention. Or as our president, Margie Miller, likes to say, if you're on the Zoom every day, we're looking for the silver linings. So our theme had been Sisters Journeying Together. Well, we still are journeying, but we've realized it's not the journey that's important. It's the being together that's important. It's the destination and the community we create. COVID, and I always want to say COVID when I see that, it's not, can't really change that. We are still a wonderful community, and we need more than ever to connect. So we're condensing our 3 days into 1 day, and we will have everything that makes our conventions great, but now even better. The things you're used to having a convention, the training, the prayer, the study, the singing, the laughing, and even the installation of our president, Debbie Goldich. Our community is still together. But I want you to recognize the importance that Women's League places on our members and you, our sisterhood presidents, you who are our boots on the ground. We are dedicating a great percentage of our 1 day to you. We're planning, as Debbie said, we're hoping for training for sisterhood leadership, for presidents, membership, and Torah Fund chairs. And this is also hot off the press, we're working on a significant event to be our Jewels in the Crown ceremony, because we feel we need to recognize the work that you have done over the last 3 years. So we look forward to continuing this traditional relationship in entirely new ways. After all, isn't that what defines us as conservative Jews? So thanks for pivoting with us. And thanks to Carol and Toby for taking this initiative so incredibly seriously and preparing you for our convention. And okay, I want to see you on July 12th. And if you're coming, I want you to raise your hands virtually.
Okay, so what I'd like to add to that is that this is such an opportunity, because a lot of times, you know, sisterhood presidents have the funds from the budget to come to a convention, but most of your membership does not. Really, what an opportunity. Talk about making lemonade out of these lemons, is that all of your women can come. They can be part of the installation. They can, you know, see what Women's League is about. They can attend some different sessions, all from the comfort of their home. No plane ticket, no hotel ticket, no convention fees, nothing. Just sitting there with their own cup of coffee or tea. And so I would really stress, this is such an opportunity that you really need a sisterhood president to be our cheerleaders, to get there and say, you know what, even if we can get together, then just get together in your own homes and, you know, experience convention together. But just tell them what an opportunity is to be able to be at a plenum and see what goes on and learn so much from our convention rabbi, from our convention scholars, and really experience it. So there are a couple of questions. Miriam Hearn had a question about, oh, where's the chat? About her members are not getting emails from Women's League. So if your members, or not only you, but if your members are not getting emails from Women's League, go into the database, make sure that there's a way you can look in the database under each member's name. If they have not allowed receiving the emails from Women's League, then you can go in there, and if you know that they want them, you can, what? No, Debbie, we can't do that anymore?
No, we can't do that anymore. Only, only Razel Max have that ability. So
Okay, so make a list. Okay, if there are people that you know that you have paid per capita for and they're not getting it, it's because they haven't allowed it. So make a list, send it to Razel. Sorry, I'm old school. I'm my technology is 3 years old. Okay.
I was trying to figure out why it wasn't working because I thought I did, just what Debbie, you were suggesting, and, no response.
Yeah, so that's why. If they have not opted in, then they're not going to get it. But you can just make a list, Miriam, and that goes for anybody. Make a list. If you hear that people are not getting the emails you're getting, ask them if it's okay. And hopefully it will be, because that's we want to enlarge our circle all the time and engage people, and make sure that they can do that. All right, I'm looking at the chat. Judy Berger, will there be multiple sessions offered at convention the day? Eileen, you can answer that one. You've had one. We haven't had a program meeting. We're doing that tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're really developing it. We will be having different things with different groups of people. We're not going to have the extensive programming that a convention would have. I'm going to be honest with you, but there will be an installation. There will be a study session. There will be, as I said, Jewels on the Crown. We're having, what else did we say? We'll be having some, I don't want to give away too much. I have meetings in the next few days that will firm up certain things, but I promise you, but here's the other thing, and I probably shouldn't encourage this necessarily, but, because we also have to learn about Zoom. You can really most likely sign on to different Zoom sessions with different numbers. So with different links. So you don't necessarily have to come to the whole day. I shouldn't really say that. We're hoping that you'll start out in the morning and be so thrilled.
That's right.
But if you would, we know everyone wants to come. It will be opening plenary with the election, and we'll have some exciting things for that. So we know everyone wants to come.
I have some very specific questions that I think we can answer. Okay, right. Judy Berger, will there be multiple sessions often on our convention day? The answer is yes. We're just not exactly sure which. Just like this had to be reworked, we haven't reworked all of convention yet. Ellen Jadd, hi Ellen, nice to see you. I don't understand how more than 100 women can attend any session. Actually, we have several different accounts. The convention account has 500 max, and if we think, and I'm sure that can be enlarged if needed, so that should not be a problem. Maxine Shmulevitz, where are you, Maxine? Once we know who wants to receive emails, who do we send that info to? You send it to Razel Kessler, Kessler, RKESSLER @WLCJ.org. And yes, it is Renee Ravitch that is right now in charge of the listserv. Okay.
I have a quick question that I asked above. Will we know in advance, like if there's specific sessions for like Torah Fund chair or education chair, treasurers and things like that, so that we can go to our people and say specifically, we'd like you to join us at convention for X, Y, and Z?
Correct. Actually, those were the sessions that we were going to be doing on Monday afternoon. We had a session for anybody having to do with finance, financial secretary, treasurer. They were going to be meeting with the Women's League treasurer. We were doing the same thing with Torah Fund. It was going to be open to anybody that Torah Fund vice presidents in your sisterhood, or if you have a Torah Fund chair. So yes, and that's what we're going to be working on tomorrow night. Is kind of reworking all the leadership sessions that we had planned for Sunday morning and Monday, and putting them together. Actually, Toby and I, and two other partners in crime, we were going to be dividing all of you up between new sisterhood presidents and ongoing sisterhood presidents, and that we were going to be flip-flop. You were going to stay in the room, and the two of us and two others were going to come in. So we're going to try and still do that. We just have to figure out how we can do that on Zoom, have two different Zoom groups
There's
going.
actually a way, a teacher that my son has for Hebrew school is able to put kids into different rooms where they can discuss
breakouts.
separately,
Yeah.
breakouts. And it works very nicely. I've actually sat in and been like a proctor for one of the rooms. And so there is a way that you don't have to like go onto a different Zoom or anything. You can just break them out. And but the last question I have may not be the last question I have. I don't know.
I hope not.
We love questions. That's why
I haven't noticed whether it's been sent out, but an email that has the link to register for the virtual convention. Has that come out yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right. I was like worried that I'd missed something. So
No,
okay.
not yet, Debbie. I mean, I know I just got my money back with the other day, so I think you're working on refunds before you're doing the other. Go ahead, Deb.
So after you sign up and you get your Women's League this week, the link for the virtual day will be in that. Look for it there. It'll also come to all the sisterhood presidents the way this came to you. There was a question about Jewels in the Crown, and somebody asked when that information would be coming out. It's coming out very soon. We have a meeting this week, and it's coming out. I will tell you that we have extended the deadline because of everything that's happened. So if you as a sisterhood president have a sisterhood that you thought you might have wanted to apply but you ran out of time, we're still accepting applications. So if you need that application, you can send a message to Carol or Toby and they'll get it to you. And feel free to fill it in and send it to us. But we're having a meeting and we will let you know the results of the Jewels in the Crown Award winners probably within 2 weeks.
Okay. And Toby has some information about some of the sisterhoods and what they've been doing since we have been self-quarantining.
Yeah, I've been kind of lurking around and checking out some of the different programs that women are already doing on Zoom. Things like, for example, a monthly feminism discussion that's led by the rabbi's wife and the rabbi, women's Seder, trivia nights. Some sisterhoods are doing a coffee clutch each Sunday morning just to keep in touch. Hebrew reading learning classes. Of course, a lot of the women want to share recipes. Exercise programs. We had talked about some of it during our talk, and but more and more seem to be doing that. We're stuck in the house and we need to figure out a way to move and get that exercise in. They've had a nutritionist come and speak about healthy eating while in quarantine, doing scrapbooking, an author day with the author coming in on Zoom and speaking about their books. Nutritionists speaking about how to eat healthy under stress. This one seemed to be very interesting. The fine art of European jewelry during the Nazi era to the present day. You know, one of the things that a lot of museums are doing is they're having virtual tours of their museums, and you can sign into one of those. This one is about a book called The Yellow Bird Sings in Hiding.
About the Holocaust.
It's
about the Holocaust.
Yes, yes. And so, you know, a lot of people are coming up with an awful lot of different things. Sisterhood presidents seem to be reaching out to their membership more often than they were in the past. Weekly, maybe sending a poem. I know what I do with my own sisterhood is I send them something every week. I just go looking around on the internet, finding different Jewish things. I figured they paid their dues somewhere along the way, and I'd like to make sure that they're just getting some information and keeping in touch. So I always try to find something of interest, and it doesn't have to be just women about women. You know, we're all taking care of our families. We're wearing even more hats now than we were before. How many of us have become teachers of our own kids? And how many of us are stuck in that sandwich generation where we're worried about our parents who are living alone and how are they getting their food and everything else. So, you know, you get on a call like this with your other sisterhood members and find out how to share it. There was one sisterhood who said that what they had done is they sent out a notice asking for people who either need help with teaching their kids or going shopping or checking in on parents and children and whatever. And then there was another list of people who might be able to go shopping and deliver the food, or maybe could have a Zoom and help a parent who is struggling trying to help their child with their homework. So, you know, we can reach out and we can find the different areas of expertise of every one of our members and ask them for help. I mean, you know, some of us are still working at home, and I understand that, including myself. And in addition to that, I'm finding that I have time that I never had before. And there's only so many times you can clean the closets out. You do it before Pesach, you do it after Pesach, and then after a while, you know, the windows aren't ready to be done yet. I woke up this morning to 3/4 of an inch of snow on the ground.
Oh, no.
And a lot of wind. So doing windows is not on the agenda yet. But, you know, there are a lot of things that we could do and we could share with each other. And it's not just one of the kids in my child's class is having a birthday. Let's drive by and honk the horn and wish them a happy birthday. But we could do this with our sisterhood members too. How many women are locked in their house, can't get out, are in that elderly age where they're afraid to go out, and drive by or ask them if they need something at the store. We can all reach out. We can all find a way. I'm not at all comfortable knitting something or sewing something, but I can really get on a phone call and talk forever. And that's what some people just need that. I've reached out to family that I haven't spoken to in years. And I think we're all getting to that point where we're seeing that we're all in this together, apart, but yes, together.
And it's up to all of you to kind of build the community. So there were a couple of more questions that I saw. One question was about convention, Debbie. As nominating chair, I'll explain why. Good. So the reason that we are not planning to do it next year is because by the Women's League bylaws, we need to meet several.
You have to do the elections.
We have, right. So we have to have several meetings during the year. The term of office of this administration is up, and by our bylaws, it's a 3-year term. So we have to have an election. The nominating committee met, the slate, we've been doing everything we needed to do. The slate was presented. So we need to have a turnover of administration. So that is why we could not wait. Will there be something next July? Hopefully we will have some kind of event to celebrate this past administration, celebrate the new administration, and have something very, very different. But we will try and get together. Right, Deb?
Yeah, and I'd like to say that now that we have Zoom, we're going to be getting together virtually much more often. It's not like sitting in a room with 500 people having a service, but it connects us in many ways.
So, and again, this is an opportunity for you to engage all of your members as well. So have we answered most of the questions?
Yes.
You're just, yeah. Okay, and somebody, Sheila Kaufman, thank you. That's a great idea that to have a virtual Torah Fund event, you can Zoom in a student from JTS or Ziegler or even the Seminario or Machon Schechter.
Yeah, we're doing that this Sunday morning.
Good. Okay, that is wonderful. And you know, all you have to do is think of the things that have been postponed. How can you turn them into a virtual? That's what you have to think about. All right. So we like to keep to exactly an hour. Are there,
But can I just address, someone asked about the blankets that we were making
oh,
for
okay, go ahead.
convention. And
Yeah.
so we are looking about not reworking that. We are still going to be making those. Where they're going to go, we haven't made every decision. I actually have a meeting with them next week. They're going to have a Zoom giving things. We may also, we were thinking of reworking the t-shirt thing. You know, everything has to be analyzed and reworked, like Carol said. And we thought, well, maybe we should change the t-shirts instead of doing a project with, you know, the bags. Maybe we should work that into making masks. You know, we don't know. We're just trying to update everything and adapt to the current world. So you will be hearing more about that, but keep making that stuff. Don't give it up. We're
Yeah,
still going
and
to use
really,
it.
and it's a great opportunity for you to
Mhm.
get the two people that were chairing it to Zoom in with you and teach you how to do it.
Yeah, and we'll be having one, like an afternoon Zoom thing.
Tina, you're muted. Tina, you're muted. Okay, okay, good. Go ahead.
So I want to say what Toby was saying about reaching out to members and people who are shut in and elderly. And our sisterhood, between the Shul and sisterhood members, we have a phone list, and every week we reach out and wish them Shabbat Shalom and ask them if they're doing okay, if they need anything. So it's a good way to have a phone squad for people and members.
And these are unusual times, especially the people that are living alone.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
It's nice to have a friendly voice and know that somebody from your sisterhood, from your synagogue community cares about you. So.
And they really appreciate it. They really do.
Any last words? If anybody has any questions, you can email them to Toby or I. Toby Mays, I know Debbie put both of our emails in the chat already. You know, if anybody has any ideas of how you're taking your in-person event and turning into a virtual event, I suggest sharing it on the Presnet so that you can share it with all the sisterhood presidents. So we can continue, you can continue this. Okay, Sandy, I see your hand is up, but you're muted, so you need to unmute yourself, please. Okay.
I have two questions. Has there been a time set for the convention, like morning to evening, or?
Yes. But exactly the time yet, no, we're still working on that, but it will be Sunday, July 12th. That is not changing.
Save the whole day.
Okay.
All right, but depending upon if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, it may be really early morning or, you know, so the exact times, not yet, but Sunday, July 12th.
Okay.
Or global.
And then my second question goes back to having our members be notified at the beginning of the year. When I send out the membership form, we give people the opportunity to opt out if there's some information they don't want, you know, me to share to Women's League. And, you know, I encourage them to at least be able to use the email, and all of them have except one person. But so I assumed they were getting all of the information, and usually when I get it lately, especially since we've been doing Zoom, I've been sending that out again to my sisterhood. But, you know, it would be easier if they were getting it, which I assumed they were. But because they gave me that permission at the beginning of the year, is that enough to contact Razel, or do I have to do it again?
No, you shouldn't have to go do it again. And if people, you know, if they have given the email and it was sent in with the per capita, all I can tell you is sometimes either they don't pay attention and they're deleting it, or it's going to spam. And they're, you know, what goes into spam, you don't know. So just make sure that they're looking for it. The other thing is, and this goes to everybody, we do not share anybody's email with anybody else. We do not even share, when somebody fills out the, you know, your database, the forms, and you put the email in, Women's League does not share that database with Torah Fund. That's a totally separate program. We do not. So if anybody's concerned that, you know, they're going to get emails from heaven only knows where. That's not going to happen because we don't, this is, you know, it's our private database. That's it. The emails are never shared. Okay. Does that help? Help, Sandy? Okay.
Carol, if it's all right, may I also say something to Sandy?
Sure.
Sandy, if you wanted to check specifically on your members, if you sent Razel the list, she would double check just to make sure that they're all right. And if you know Razel, she's amazing and she lives to serve and she's wonderful and she wouldn't mind at all double checking.
I mean, I had trouble with my database, or, you know, with my address for some reason a couple weeks ago, but I know she has a lot to do. So I hate to go to her unless I absolutely have to right now.
Well, take your time.
Yeah,
You know.
she's fine. She's fine. She's more than happy to help. Okay.
Right.
So I wanted, Toby and I would like to thank you. I don't even know where you are, Toby, anymore.
I'm right here. I
Okay.
haven't gone anywhere.
I'd like to thank all of you for sharing. Henrietta, you have a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm unmuted.
You are.
Yeah, my question was very simple. Somehow I can't find Toby's email. Are you the right person to help us with glitches with the Zoom system, or who's the best person for us to contact?
For most of the questions, I can answer it for you. If you email me your question, then
Okay.
if I can't find the answer, I will find it for you.
Let me just have your email. I can't find it.
T Maser, M-A-S-E-R, @WLCJ.org.
Oh, that's simple. Thank you.
Deb, you have a,
Carol, there's a request here.
okay.
They would like to have, and a few people would like to have a Zoom meeting where they can have a discussion among presidents to discuss topics of concerns with one another. Just an informal conversation.
Good idea.
That's basically what Renee has been doing. I'm not sure if she's done it through Zoom, but it's WLSIST, SIST, PREZ, Google Groups. And Renee Ravitch is the one who is in charge of it. You would need to contact her or Lois Silverman to get into the group.
Right.
Can I suggest that Debbie, you and Toby just contact Renee and let Renee set it up? Because that
I actually put Renee's email in here many times. It's Renee Ravitch. And I'll put it in again. And I can tell Renee that you are interested in doing that. And as a Zoom group, as opposed to just a chat, but I will share that with her. And
good idea.
There was one more, Carol, I just wanted to, let me see.
Also,
They're telling people to look in promotions rather than.
Right, that was it. Go ahead.
Some of your region presidents may also be starting Zooms with the region officers, of which you each are in your region. So you can check with your region president and see if they're doing it also.
Well, you can thank Carol and Toby for starting it off.
So there's one comment about if you're not getting your mail, look under the promotions tab on your Google email. Sometimes it goes there and it doesn't come to your regular email. You have 3 tabs. One is social, one is promotions. So look under the other tabs. Look under promotions on your Google email, on your inbox. Sheila said that, and that is appropriate because I know sometimes I miss some things and you have to check your other tabs.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Okay, I still have a couple. It shows 4 hands up. Anybody, who else? Carol, you have a question?
It's Elaine.
Okay.
And
then Carol.
Okay, this is off the subject we've been discussing it.
Okay.
I have a concern that when we have the board meeting and our treasurer does our finance report, I want to know how secure and private Zoom is. Can we really report what we have in the bank and all of that?
Well, yes, because what you can do is when you send out the Zoom invitation, okay, then as you scroll down, there are all these different things you can click on. You can include a password so that whoever comes on has to put in the password as we do for the Daily Minion now. So that's
Okay, we do have the password. I just wasn't sure. Okay.
And then the other thing is you can include having a waiting room so that somebody has to, you get notification that somebody's in your waiting room. And if it's somebody that you haven't invited, you just don't let them in. So, okay, does that help? Good.
Yes.
Carol Greenberg, I don't know why I'm pointing, but you're at the top of my screen. Okay, you're still muted, Carol. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just an idea that I had because of this coronavirus. I thought maybe the sisterhood could do something. So I called Stony Brook, Long Island, and I asked what could we do to help the staff, something to encourage them. You know, like people go by and they drive by. So the outreach person said that what they have is they have like television screens in the halls, and when people go by, they said you could do a 20-second video that members could do that and send it to this local coordinator, you know, like applauding or a sign or something like that. Well, I'm going to suggest that to my sisterhood.
Okay, so for those of you that are in New York, that might be something you could do. For those of you that are not in New York, contact your local hospital, see if they can, if they have something as well, because that's really nice.
Wow, great idea.
I think there's one more hand up, Joan.
I had a question posed to me that I don't know the answer to. Is it possible that someone can be getting some Women's League emails and not others?
Yes.
How do we fix that?
They go to spam or they go to a different folder.
Okay. So they need to check their folders.
And their spam folder.
Spam.
Okay, but it's not anything on the Women's League end. It's that they should all be being sent out.
Right.
Okay, so there's not any separate lists they need to be on or anything. Okay.
No. And sometimes for whatever reason, things go into your spam that you don't get all of them.
Right.
Well, I was one of those people and it's not going to my spam. I'm getting some emails and I'm not getting all. And I check all of my boxes.
Put the Women's League email address in your permanent address book, and then it won't go to spam.
Gail, do you know
already there, but I will check it.
Gail, do you know what emails you're getting and you're not getting? Do you know what you're not getting?
The weekly. I was getting Sabbath message, but not the weekly messages, and I'm not getting my region messages.
Okay, so your region messages, I talked to your region president just to make sure. And you've checked your spam and junk and everything.
I check it. I'm working by Zoom and email, so I check it every day.
Okay.
Which is why I brought it up.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, there's one message that comes out from Women's League, and it comes out on Tuesday. It's called Women's League This Week, and it's a combined Shabbat message and a Women's League information message. The ones that you're getting on Friday or closer to Shabbat from your region is from your region.
I sent her the Women's League This Week while we were on this call, and she said she's not been receiving those.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check the region message and see why she's not getting those once we're done here.
Okay.
Sometimes things get blocked, so if not, if you know that, then you start researching it and figure out why.
Well, and Joan was very helpful, which is why I brought it up, because
Good. I'm glad you did.
Going to a junk box,
Yeah,
and I'm
the
getting
technical-
some things, so it's kind of strange that I get a couple things, not everything. That's
Gail,
all.
I would send Rachel Kessler a message and just ask her if you are subscribed. Okay, just to be sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Debbie.
Okay, I think I don't see any other raised hands. Do you? Eileen, Debbie? We don't want to leave with questions still on the table here. So, okay. Any other questions from anyone? Eileen, you're muted.
I'm assuming the ones that already asked just didn't lower their hands, but they're
Yeah,
disabled. Okay.
Okay. All right. So again, thank you all for joining us. This has been so exciting. We really appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, just email Toby and I, and we'll research.
Thank you all so much. And I really look forward to seeing you on July 12th.
Yep, absolutely.